भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की। हरे कृष्ण। पुनः एक बार
Hare Krishna. Once again,
हरि नाम का आश्रय लेकर
taking the shelter of the holy names,
श्री हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र का जाप,
chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra
के साथ बैठकर
along with devotee association, and after that,
हरि नाम रूपी कल्प वृक्ष के नीचे बैठकर
so we are sitting under the desire tree of the holy names of the Lord, and we have got this beautiful opportunity to listen to the pastimes of the Lord as well.
जैसे भगवान श्री कृष्ण पूर्ण है
As Lord is complete
और क्योंकि
in himself,
कृष्ण में
and in Lord Shri Krishna,
अंतर नहीं है,
and
इसलिए
his names are non-different, therefore Lord Shri Krishna's name is also complete whole.
इस दुनिया में आप
In this world,
किसी भी प्रकार का कर्म करोगे,
no matter what kind of work you do
वह कर्म
or deed you perform,
अपूर्णता अवश्य रहेगी।
there might be some incompleteness in that work, because only Lord himself is the whole and his name is complete, but we all are incomplete.
पूर्ण जीवों के द्वारा
And
गए कर्म भी
the work that are done by incomplete living entities like us also remain incomplete.
कहे कि हमने बहुत बड़ा यज्ञ किया,
If someone says that we have performed a great fire sacrifice, so it's true that you have performed that, but was that sacrifice complete?
करने वाला अपूर्ण है,
The person who is
पूर्ण है, सब
performing it, the person who is organizing, they all are incomplete.
कांड वो यज्ञ कैसे पूर्ण हो सकता है?
So how can the work done by them could be
कि हमने दान
complete?
किया, हमने पुण्य किया,
So if we say that we have performed some charity or austerity, so any kind of
अपूर्णता
pious deed or karma
अवश्य
has some shortcomings or failures. Therefore,
मनुष्य जीवन मिला है,
we have got this human life
ये हमारा
to perform piety, and that is our religious responsibility. But
अपूर्णता को
to,
यदि पूरी करना चाहते हैं,
if we want to complete the
भगवान श्री कृष्ण का नाम लेना,
incomplete or unfinished task, then we should chant the holy names of the Lord, because Krishna is complete and his names are also complete. So therefore, after any pious deed or along with any pious work, if we take the holy names of the Lord, then the work gets complete in itself, or it becomes complete in itself.
अभिन्नत्वा नाम नामनी, ये पूर्ण शुद्ध है,
So he
कृष्ण से अभिन्न है,
is, and he and his names are non-different, and they are the most pure.
आप सब जानते हैं,
As you all are aware, that Bali Maharaj performed a great sacrifice.
वैसे देखा जाए,
And if you see
स्थूल रूप से बलि महाराज का
in gross terms, then it was incomplete.
सो बलि महाराज ने अपने गुरु शुक्राचार्यों को कहा,
So he told his spiritual master Shukracharya that our fire sacrifice is incomplete. Then Shukracharya responds beautifully. He recites,
छिद्रम मंत्र तस्तंत्र छिद्रम देश कालर्हवस्तुतः सर्वं करोति निश्चिद्रम् सर्वं करोति निश्चिद्रम् अनु संकीर्तनं तव अनु संकीर्तनं तव। दैत्य गुरु शुक्राचार्य कहते हैं कि बलि
the
महाराज,
spiritual master of demons, that is Shukracharya, responds to Bali Maharaj and he says, whether it is mantra, that is, here it implies the verses that are spoken while performing the fire sacrifice or homa. So it's not necessary that the pronunciation will be perfect or diction would be perfect. So there might be some shortcoming. Then he says tantra tat chidram. So the shortcomings of failures. So in our veneration or karmakanda, etc., we have some shortcomings. Chitra means shortcomings, and according to time, place, and circumstance, there might be shortcomings. So there is a process to offer Tulsi Ji to Lord. But in United States, some places the devotees die, but they are unable to sustain Tulsi Maharani. And there is a process to offer flowers to the Lord, but we cannot offer them the whole 12 months. So there is some shortcomings in all our veneration and pious works. So he adds, Sarvam karoti nishchidram. So in your life, whatever pious deeds or piety you perform, and those will become complete or perfect without any shortcomings by Sankirtanam Tava, that is congregational chanting of the holy names, and that is for sure, or he says that is for certainty. All the shortcomings will be taken care of. So even the people who perform great uphill karmakandas, they speak this mantra or verse. Ultimately, they conclude by saying that if there is some shortcoming, then all will be taken care by taking the holy names of the Lord or by congregational chanting of the names. So we should chant the glories of the Lord. So that is what they say. So it implies that Lord is complete, similarly, his names are also filled with potency and they are complete. And if we want to complete our incompleteness, then we should chant the holy names of the Lord. We have we are extremely fortunate that from Uddhav Gita we are listening to the definitions of devotional service and we are contemplating on the same. And these unalloyed devotional services definitions are given by none other than Lord Sri Krishna himself. Lord Purushottama says, whatever religion we follow and that is followed completely, you might have seen whatever religion or practice Krishna imbibed, he finished or concluded them. Krishna went to the hermitage of Sandipani Rishi and he accepted the of a disciple, and when he became a disciple he became a complete disciple. Sandipani Rishi said that you will be punished, and Krishna followed it to the nail. And when he became knowledgeable or a scholar, he became complete scholar. When he became a thief, then he became a thief also completely. So whatever work he do, he completes it, finishes it. That is why he is referred to as Purushottam. So today's thief, what will he do? He will steal money, wealth, car, etc. But Krishna is the greatest thief of all. He robbed the heart of Srimati Radharani and his exalted devotees. So when he stole completely. And when he became ignorant, then he became ignorant thoroughly. And today, Krishna has taken the role of a spiritual master, whether of Arjuna or of Uddhav. He becomes the complete or a whole spiritual master. Not like us that our disciple will feel bad, we won't get donation, etc. Not like that. Krishna and Arjuna were friends when Arjuna said that now I want you to be the spiritual master. Then immediately Krishna scolded Arjuna. A friend has a hindrance, but when he became a spiritual master, he started with scolding Arjuna. He says that you consider yourself to be a scholar, but there is nobody as ignorant as you. So when he became the spiritual master, he did it thoroughly, as he himself is complete. So here, Lord Krishna is playing the role of a spiritual master and he is reciting this Gita to Uddhavji. So there are two Gitas that are famous, that is Bhagavad Gita and Uddhav Gita.
अर्जुन को भगवत गीता और
So to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita, and to Uddhav Gita. So these two Gitas are the most famous. So these have some similarities and differences at the same time.
समानताएं ये हैं कि
So the
दोनों
similarities are that
अपने
both the Gitas were
ये
spoken
एक
to
समानता
his
है।
friends.
बाकी अन्य चीज देखी जाए
But
तो
if you
भगवत
see
गीता और उद्धव गीता में
in a matter of
हजार
essence,
आसमानों
then
का अंतर है।
they are totally different.
सबसे पहले अर्जुन को
So
सुनाई
first
हुई
and
गीता का
foremost,
प्रारंभ कहाँ से होता है?
where does the
अर्जुन
Gita
ने
that he
गीता
spoke to
को
Arjuna, where does it start?
अर्जुन ने कहा कि कृष्ण
When Arjuna
हमें
said,
युद्ध
"Oh
नहीं करना
Krishna,
है,
we should not
युद्ध
fight
करना ये
this
बहुत बड़ा
battle
पाप है,
because it's a grave sin,
सो युद्ध नहीं करने के
so we
लिए
should avoid the
अपने रथ के
war."
पीछे बैठ जाता है।
And he sat behind in his chariot.
कृष्ण ने
And
उद्धव
in
जी को
that
सुंदर
situation,
गीता सुनाई।
Krishna spoke
गीता में
the
बहुत सारी
Gita,
बातें आई,
and there were so
लेकिन
many
कृष्ण ने
things that
उसमें
came, but
यही कहा
ultimately he
कि तू ये
said,
कह रहा था ना
"Oh
कि
Arjuna, you
युद्ध
were
करने से
saying
पाप
that
लगेगा,
by fighting
तो
you
मैं
will
तुझे
incur
सारे
grave
पापों से
sin,
मुक्त कर दूंगा।
then I will relieve you of
भगवत गीता
all
के
those
सारे
sins."
अंतिम
That
श्लोक
is the conclusion of
श्रीमद्
Bhagavad Gita,
माम एकम शरणम व्रज
the last
अहम
verse of
सर्व
Bhagavad Gita,
पापेभ्यो, तो युद्ध करने के पाप से
that
मत डर,
you should not be
क्योंकि युद्ध
scared
करना ये कोई
or
पाप नहीं है,
afraid
बल्कि ये युद्ध
of
करना धर्म है,
fighting this battle,
कर्तव्य है।
because for you this is your
सो भगवत
responsibility
गीता
of religious
अर्जुन को
principle.
वो प्रारंभ वो पाप के कारण और अंत में भी यही कहा कि पापों से मत डर, मैं तुझे पापों से मुक्त कर दूंगा।
And I will relieve you of all the sins. But when he spoke Gita to Uddhavji, then the situation was totally different.
अर्जुन को सुनाई सिचुएशन थी, अर्जुन कंफ्यूज था,
Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna when
अर्जुन को
Arjuna
सुनाई,
was confused, and
लेकिन
those
उद्धव को जो गीता
that
सुनाई
time
वहां
he
उद्धव
spoke.
कंफ्यूज नहीं
But
थे,
here, when he speaks
उद्धव
to
को याद
Uddhavji, he is not confused. He
भगवान
is
श्री
in
कृष्ण
the
भगवत धाम जा रहे थे,
situation of
तो
yoga
उद्धव के मन में
or
वियोग था,
trance
उस
or viyog, that is
वियोग को
separation.
वे सहन नहीं कर पा
So
रहे
he
थे,
was unable to
इसीलिए कृष्ण ने
let
उद्धव
go
जी को
this
याद दिलाया
separation, the feeling of
कि
despondency.
युद्ध
That is
से
why
पाप
he
लगेगा,
was given this
ये
knowledge.
संशय
So
था,
here,
इसलिए ज्ञान मिला
Arjuna had
और
this
उद्धव को कृष्ण का वियोग था,
confusion that I will
इसलिए
incur
कृष्ण ने
sin,
उद्धव को
while here Uddhavji was merged
श्रीमद्
in
भगवत गीता का
despondency
अध्ययन
of
करते हैं
separation with the Lord.
तो भगवत गीता
So if we
अर्जुन
see,
गीता के
if
लिए
we look
पूर्ण रूप से
at
अप्रासंगिक है,
Bhagavad Gita is
कोई प्रसंग में की गई गीता नहीं है।
non
अब युद्ध कोई ज्ञान देने
or
की जगह है
lacks any
वहां पर,
pastime, because of
तो
battlefield is
जहां
not a
अर्जुन
place
को
to
गीता सुनाई वो
give or
अप्रासंगिक की सेंस में
impart knowledge.
युद्ध का समय था,
It was a
सब
time
लोग
of
युद्ध करने के लिए तैयार है,
war and
एक
everybody
दूसरे
was
को
ready.
मारो काटो
They
किया जा
all
रहा था,
are
उस
wearing
समय कृष्ण ने
shields.
उपाड़ा शुरू किया,
And at that time,
ध्यान
Krishna
देना।
started speaking to
सो ये
impart
अर्जुन
the
गीता
knowledge.
जो है ना, वैसे
So
देखा जाए
this
तो अप्रासंगिक युद्ध
Arjun
के समय में
Gita
दी गई,
is
लेकिन
at an
उद्धव जी को जब
inappropriate
गीता
place
सुनाई वो बिल्कुल
or
प्रासंगिक थी,
without any
जब विश्राम का समय था
background. But
उस समय
the
कृष्ण ने
Gita
उद्धव
that
को
is spoken to Uddhavji, that has a base or a foundation.
कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को जो गीता सुनाई वो
So
स्थान भी उचित नहीं है,
the Gita
समय
that was
उचित
spoken to
नहीं है गीता
Arjuna, the
नहीं, अब
place
स्थान
was not
उचित नहीं,
correct, but not
कुरुक्षेत्र
even the
का
place was
युद्ध है,
correct. The
वो
battlefield of
नहीं, ये
Kurukshetra
भी कोई ज्ञान देने की जगह है,
is not a place that where we should give
सो
knowledge.
समय भी
So
अप्रासंगिक है
nor the
और
time
स्थान
was
भी उचित नहीं
appropriate,
है,
nor
जब
the place
उद्धव जी को
was
जो ज्ञान
correct.
दिया
But
वो
when
उद्धव
he
के समय
imparted
की
this
बात है,
knowledge to Uddhavji,
कुरुक्षेत्र में
the
एक जगह
place
पर
was
था,
proper. That is, he sat at one place in Prabhas
ओ,
Kshetra and he
अर्जुन
shared
को
this
ज्ञान का
knowledge.
सार क्या निकला?
So, what is the conclusion
कृष्ण ने
of
अर्जुन को गीता सुनाई, तो
Gita
अर्जुन
given
के
to
अंदर में
Arjuna?
क्या परिवर्तन आया?
So, what was the transformation of
कृष्ण
Arjuna
ने
after
अर्जुन को
listening
गीता सुनाई
to
तो वह गीता सुनकर
Bhagavad
अर्जुन
Gita?
युद्ध में प्रवृत्त हुए,
So, he
जैसे
became
उद्धव ने
ready
कहा
to
कृष्ण
fight
अब मैं युद्ध करूंगा,
after listening to Krishna.
सो अर्जुन वाली गीता में
So,
वो
in
युद्ध
Arjuna's
सुनकर
Gita,
अंत
after
में
listening to
अर्जुन
that,
युद्ध में प्रवृत्त
ultimately
हुए, और
Krishna
अर्जुन अपने कर्तव्य में प्रवृत्त हुए।
words, Arjuna
और
became
उद्धव जी वाली गीता
focused
में
on his deed or
सार क्या
work.
हुआ?
But in Uddhavji's Gita, what was the conclusion?
कर उद्धव जी
After
का
listening to
योग
that,
दूर हुआ,
his
भक्ति में प्रवृत्त हुए,
feeling of separation was removed and his emotion was
और
transformed
यही गीता का
into
सबसे बड़ा
divine
धर्म
love
है।
towards the Lord, that is
अर्जुन,
Krishna
भगवत गीता
Prema.
का सब्जेक्ट क्या है? धर्म
So,
मार्ग।
what is the subject of
मैंने
Krishna
कई बार
Arjuna's
सुनाया है,
Gita?
भगवत
That is
गीता का प्रथम शब्द क्या है?
the first word
धर्म क्षेत्र।
of
भगवत गीता
Gita
की
is Dharma
शुरुआत धर्म से
Kshetre.
होती है,
So, it starts from the
और
principles of
गीता के
religiosity,
अंतिम श्लोक में भी क्या आता है?
and in the last
यत्र योगेश्वर
verse
कृष्ण यत्र
of
पार्थ
Bhagavad
तत्र
Gita, what does
कृष्णस्य
it
श्रीमती
says?
विभूति ध्रुवम नीति मतिर मम। सो प्रथम अक्षर ध और अंतिम अक्षर म, प्रारंभ से लेकर अंत तक
So, from the first to the end,
धर्म के
Bhagavad Gita discusses about the principles of
मूल
religiosity.
सब्जेक्ट
So,
धर्म
the
है।
fundamental subject or prime
भगवत
subject
गीता
is
का मूल सब्जेक्ट
religious principles or responsibility. But the subject for Uddhav Gita is
भगवत गीता
the
में
divine transcendental love towards the Lord,
अर्जुन को
that is Krishna
प्रवृत्ति
Prema.
में लगाया।
So, here
अर्जुन
in Arjun
रिटायर होना
Gita,
चाहता था, लेकिन
Arjuna wanted to
समय से
retire
पहले मरना
himself,
चाहता था।
but he wanted to retire before time.
रिटायर होना अच्छी बात है, लेकिन
So, it's good to
समय
retire,
से रिटायर
but
होना चाहिए।
we should do it at an
जवानी में
appropriate
रिटायर हो
time.
जाएंगे, 2-5
If
साल
we are
करने के
young
बाद फिर से
and
फिर
if we
से वो
retire,
काम
then after
करने का
5, 10
मन
years, we
करेगा।
will have those
या फिर
desires.
काम करते अच्छे भी नहीं
And
लगेंगे,
when
तो
we will be
सोचेंगे
old,
चलो
then
थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा काम कर ले और फिर
we
आगे
won't
देखेंगे।
look good while working. So it's better that we
समय
work
रिटायर
now.
होना चाहिए।
So when we are
सो अर्जुन को
experienced
क्या
or
होना
the time is
चाहता था?
opportune, at that time only we
कृष्ण
should
ने
retire
अर्जुन
ourselves.
को
So
प्रवृत्त किया।
Arjuna wanted to retire himself, but
अर्जुन को जो
Krishna
प्रवृत्ति
transformed him
दिया वो पूर्वार्ध
to
है,
enterprise
मतलब
or
पूर्वार्ध
into an
यानी
enterprise.
प्रारंभ का। जब कोई जवान होता है तो उसे क्या
So
करना
when
चाहिए?
someone is young, what should they
तो
do?
उद्धव को जो ज्ञान दिया वो
But
बुद्धि
the
का ज्ञान
knowledge
है,
that he imparted
पूर्वार्ध
to
वाला ज्ञान है,
Uddhav was
प्रवृत्ति
the
का ज्ञान
knowledge
है।
when
सो जीव
of
को
old age
प्रवृत्त
or
करने के
when
लिए
we
भगवत
should
गीता
be
और
relieved or
प्रवृत्त
retired.
होने के लिए उद्धव गीता। यदि आप मुझे पूछो, मेरा भी तो कुछ
So if
मतलब है,
you ask
मुझे
me,
पूछो
my
तो
perspective
उद्धव गीता के बिना
will
भगवत
be
गीता
that
अधूरी है,
without Uddhav
और
Gita,
भगवत
Bhagavad Gita
गीता
is
के बिना
incomplete
उद्धव गीता
and
अधूरी
vice
है।
versa.
क्योंकि भगवत गीता में प्रवृत्ति धर्म है,
Because
उद्धव गीता
Bhagavad
में
Gita
प्रवृत्ति का धर्म है।
teaches us how to
पूर्वार्ध
work
का बोध है,
and
उद्धव
Uddhav
गीता
Gita
में
teaches
उत्तरार्ध
us
का
how
बोध
to
है।
retire.
सो इस प्रकार से
So in this manner,
विशेष गीता
these two special Gitas
भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने सुनाई, और दोनों में
are
सबसे
spoken
बड़ा
by
अंतर
Lord
है,
Shri
दोनों में ही
Krishna,
अंतर है।
and
लेकिन
this is
दोनों
the
गीता
difference
कृष्ण
between
ने
them.
अपने सखा
But in both these Gitas, the
अर्जुन को
similarity is
सुनाया,
that they were spoken to
वो
his
भी
friend
सखा है।
Arjuna and Uddhava, both
लेकिन
are
दोनों सखा
Krishna's
में कौन
friend.
सा अंतर है?
But there is a difference between
भगवान
these
श्री
two
कृष्ण ने
characters as
तीन
well.
प्रकार के सखा दिए
Lord
हुए हैं।
Krishna has three types of
ब्रज के
friends.
सखा,
First is the friends
हस्तिनापुर के
in
सखा,
Vraj, second is
द्वारिका
the
के
friends of
सखा।
Hastinapur, and
तीनों में
the
अंतर
friends
क्या है?
of
जो ब्रज के सखा है, कृष्ण के जो ब्रज
Dwarka.
वाले सखा, उसमें
So the
मात्र
friends
माधुर्य
of
देखा है,
Braj have just
केवल मात्र
conjugal love
सालोक्य और साख्य है।
or fraternal relationship with the Lord and nothing beyond
कृष्ण
that.
गोवर्धन उठाते हैं तो उस
When
ब्रज के
Krishna picks
सखाओं
up
को कृष्ण
Govardhan,
के
the
स्वरूप
friends
में
of
दिखाई देते
Braja,
हैं।
they don't see
वो
him as
समझते हैं
the
कि इसको
Lord.
हम लोग ने सपोर्ट किया ना, इसलिए इसने
They
इतना
think
बड़ा
that we
कर
have
दिया।
supported him. That is
चाहे
why
वो
he has
शूरपणखा को मारे, अघासुर मारे, बकासुर मारे, वो सखाओं को
been
समझता
able
नहीं है कि ये
to
हमारा मित्र है।
pick up the Govardhan. So they have just one thought that he is our friend, although he is
केवल माधुर्य ब्रज
healing
के सखाओं
demons
को
and
देखते
doing
हैं।
such uphill tasks. So this is the first
दूसरी बात क्या है?
category. The second category
हस्तिनापुर
is
के सखा, जैसे कि
the
अर्जुन,
friends of Hastinapur like Arjuna.
अर्जुन कृष्ण के साथ साख्य है,
So Arjuna has a
लेकिन कभी
fraternal
कभी
relationship with the Lord,
ऐश्वर्य
but
प्रकट हो जाता है, कभी कभी उनके
sometimes
अंदर
the
गांभीर्य प्रकट हो
opulence
जाता है।
and
वैसे अर्जुन और कृष्ण माधुर्य में रहते हैं,
magnificence
कंधे पे हाथ
appears.
रखना, एक
So
थाली में भोजन
sometimes
करना,
they
आनंद
eat in
पूर्वक
one plate,
बुलाना। लेकिन कभी
they
कभी
call each
उनके
other by
अंदर
names, but
ऐश्वर्य
sometimes
प्रकट
when
होते हैं,
the Lord
जैसे भगवत गीता
manifests
में
his opulence,
जैसे
when
मधु
in,
का
as for
मिश्रण
example,
होता
in
है,
Bhagavad Gita,
तो वो
he
मिश्रण
shows his
कृष्ण
universal
के साथ
form,
दोबारा
then
बैठ
the Arjuna who used to sit with Krishna, he sits at the lotus feet of the Lord with folded hands. And in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna starts crying that, oh, Krishna, I always thought that you are an ordinary person and my friend, but today I have realized that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Lord Himself. Oh, Krishna, oh, Yadava, oh, my friend, what are the names that I have addressed you with? But today I have realized, so please forgive me. So here they have dual personality. The friends of Raja think of Krishna as his friend, their friends only. And Hastinapur, in Hastinapur, Arjuna consider him to be his friend, but he also considers him to be the Lord after seeing his opulence. And the third type, that is like Uddhava, they consider the Lord only and only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they have the steadiness of knowledge, and he is very, very steadfast. And such is the friendship between Uddhavji and Krishna. So has Krishna given any knowledge to his friends in Vraja? Had he shared any transcendental or scriptural knowledge with them? Because they were also his friends. But here in Dwarika and Hastinapur, they were imparted knowledge. The reason being, there are two types of distresses. First is in outward, and the others are inward. So, outward distress is the trouble with our body or the troubles or distresses on bodily platform. But inward distress is the sadness or despondency of our heart and mind. So the outward distress or sadness can be removed by or through his potency of deed he can remove. But the inward trouble or distress cannot be removed by that. That can be only relieved by the knowledge or the potency of knowledge. So the friends of Braja, what had they distress? So inwardly they were in bliss and ecstasy. Whatever distress they had was on bodily platform. Indra overwhelmed them with so much rain, and Krishna, by his kriya or potency to work, he lifted the Govardhan, he killed the demons, and when there was a forest fire, then by his potency he drank the fire. So in Braja, the friends had outward or distress of bodily platform. So Krishna is aware which distress or sadness can or disturbance can be destroyed by which power. So when Indra was doing this, then had he used his knowledge, potency, then what would have happened? Had he said that we are not this body, we are souls, the water cannot touch your soul. But here it will not work. Here he has to lift the Govardhana hill. So where which power or potency should be used, we should learn from the Lord. So the distress of Arjuna was not outward. Please listen carefully. In Bhagavad Gita, the worry or anxiety of Arjuna was not that he will be killed or hurt by the weapons of Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitama, or Duryodhana, but he was worried inwardly that I will incur sin. So that was his mental distress. It was not physical trouble, but mental disturbance or distress. So that was the confusion in his mind. So that Krishna understood that Arjuna is not facing physical disturbance but bodily, not physical or bodily, but mental disturbance. So that is why Krishna didn't came into action. Otherwise, he could have completed the war in one single day. But he realized the problem was inward. And similarly, in case of Uddhavji, he didn't have any outward disturbance but inward problem as he was feeling separation from the Lord. That is why they both were given transcendental knowledge. So when the trouble is physical, then by his potency, he relieves the devotee. But when the problem is internal, then he reveals the transcendental knowledge and removes this confusion, distress, and ignorance. So in this world, the people in this world don't have physical distress. So now those times have elapsed that from 10 days people were hungry and they couldn't eat and they died. So now it's not there. So today people are dying because of eating too much. So the physical trouble is not that much, but the trouble mostly is of the mind. 99% distresses are mental ailments. So this diabetes, blood pressure, heart attack, etc. So they are all related to mental ailment. So the COVID that it came, 90% it was a psychological problem. People were dying because of fear. So most of the time the diseases are mental ailments, and to relieve ourselves from this, we should gather in or gain knowledge. So Krishna imparted knowledge to both of them. So we also have the trouble because of our mind and soul. That is why mind and heart. That is why we should try to incur knowledge. And we can get that knowledge only in devotee association. So it is the utmost mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we all are doing devotee association and gaining knowledge, and by which we are getting relieved of our mental distresses. And whenever we perform devotional association, we do congregational chanting of the holy names. Why? And the reason being, there are three reasons. So the first reason is, as you all are aware, we should not feel sleepy. So after listening to or performing congregational chanting, we will become energetic. While listening to congregational chanting and gaining knowledge, whatever knowledge we are gaining, we will be able to digest that knowledge. Otherwise, this will be a futile exercise. So in between, when we chant or take the holy names of the Lord, then we digest it because his name is pure and we get an understanding. And the third reason being, we chant the holy names of the Lord while listening to the pastimes of the Lord, because listening to the pastimes is Shravana Bhakti, or the limb of listening of devotional service. But congregational chanting or kirtan is another limb of devotional service. So when we join these two, then it becomes Kanchan Mani Yog. That is, Kanchan means gold and Mani means jewel or gemstone. So if gold is decorated, bedecked with gemstone, then it becomes more precious. So this pastime or proclivity of the Lord is like gold, and congregational chanting is a gemstone. So we will proceed to the Katha. Before that, congregational chanting of the holy names.
आपको कुछ समझ में आया ना आया, लेकिन आज
Whether you understood or not, but today is Mother's Day. And in our childhood, many years back, I have heard this poem. What are the emotions of a mother? What is her nature? In Gujarati, they say that on this earth, the love and the motherly affection or natural tendency to love is that in mother. I was not about to speak, but I got a message that you should speak. I can speak for hours. I can speak throughout the year. But it becomes very difficult to speak about two people. One is the spiritual master and other is the mother. But in the morning, I see, and I have shown you as a, but the mother is such a form that not even the humans but also animals, there is motherly affection.
ये खींचने वाले को, फोटो लेने वाले को मैं शत शत प्रणाम करूंगा.
I just want to bow down to at the feet of the photographer. This is a female deer, and she was standing with her 2-3 cub, and cheetahs came to eat her, and her children ran, but she stood there. These two cheetahs are eating her. She is not distressed about her pain, but her eyes are focused on her kids, and inwardly she is happy that no matter what is happening to me, but at least my kids are safe. That is an attitude of a mother. This is the motherly affection, not even in humans, but also in animals. She could have screamed, cried, would have tried to run. She's not even running, because if she runs, then the cheetahs will focus on her kids to protect her children. She has sacrificed her own life. That is a mother. In Saurashtra, a poet, Kavi Kag, has written that when mother became old and she was on her deathbed, and at that time, the associates of Lord Yama are standing at her head, but she is not leaving her body. So when someone asks that there is so much distress in your body, But why are you not leaving this body? On the deathbed, the mother just responds, I'm worried about my children, whether they will live their life happily. So, the poem that I recited, that is a story of a mother. I have spoken about it a few years back. And as I have heard it in my childhood, it still remains fresh in my mind. So, a mother lost her husband in her youth and she wanted to kill herself, but she had a child playing on her lap. On one hand, there is the distress of the husband's loss, and on the other hand, she had this responsibility of the child. And because of this responsibility, she let go of her desire to die with her husband. But without a husband's support, to take care of a child is becomes extremely difficult. But she did it. She used to starve herself but feed her son, and in many ways she used to pamper the child, and he became an adult. He was taught in the best of the schools, but that child got bad association and he got so entangled that he started intoxicating himself and had started association with a prostitute, and in this association with the prostitute he destroyed all his wealth and opulence. So this mother regrets.
दोस्ती बांधीन की दान मान्या केण एक उल्टा हारे दोस्ती बांधीन की ध्यान मान्या केण जीवन मारी झूंपड़ी ऊपर दीकरे दीधा देण भोळा ने तो भोळवी लीधो ये दगो मने दीकरे दीधो. माँ अफसोस करती है कि
So
मैंने
the
इसको
ma is filled with regret that I have made him an adult, and he still had so much love for his mother. And whenever he meets the prostitute, he used to discuss about his mother. I want to meet my mom. I should go early to meet her. And that girl always used to get disturbed. One day he proposed, and this prostitute told him, I will marry you only on one condition, and that is, he said that I will fulfill all your wishes. Then that prostitute said, if you really love me, then you should bring the heart of your mother to me. And he was so much under the impression of her love that he drank so much alcohol, and he bought a knife in the middle of the night, and her own son took out the heart from his mother's bosom. And as he was intoxicated, so he fell down. Then there was a sound from mother's heart that, oh son, please be careful, you would get hurt. That is the attitude or natural tendency of a mother. After doing so much, although he has killed his own mother, but still mother is worried about her son. But when he heard this voice from the heart of his mother that you will get hurt, please be careful, at that time that boy lost his intoxication, and he came into realization.
એ માના ઉદ્ગારો જ્યાં કાને પડ્યા એના અંતરના દ્વારો ઉઘડી ગયા નેણે શ્રાવણ ભાદ્રવની તરિયા એના આંખે શ્રાવણ ભાદરની તરિયા અફસોસ કરને લગા જેણે જન્મ દીધો એનો જીવ લીધો એ જેણે જન્મ દીધો એનો જીવ લીધો ધન્ય માવલડી તને ધીક હો મુझे ધન્ય मावलड़ी तने धिक हो मुझे अफसोस करते हुए कहता है आय धूड़ पड़ी आजीवन मां आय धूड़ पड़ी आजीवन मां भूलो भान हूं पेली नागण मां कया मोढ़े हूं जीवूं हूँ आ जग मां कया मोढ़े हूँ जीवूं हूँ आ जग मां फिर तो बुद्धि आई
When he came to consciousness and he realized his mistake, that I have killed my own mother, and now he has nothing left, only regret. And with the knife, he had killed his mother. With the same knife, he killed himself as well. And while dying, what did he say?
मारी भूख हरी हे मां तारा पालवड़े मारी भूख हरी तारा पालव नीचे मैं ऊंघ करी तारा पालव नीचे मैं ऊंघ करी तारा पालव नीचे मैं ऊंघ करी हे मां मैं जीवन में लाखों गलती करता रहा
He said, "Oh my dear mother, I did so many mistakes, but you always wiped away, hid my shortcomings and failures. You always used to hide them, and with my own hands I have killed you. So please don't think that the child has killed his own mother with knife, but not to remember your mother, not to serve your mother, or to hurt her. So these are all equivalent to killing our mother. So we all are similar to that boy, but he killed himself, and both son and mother lost their lives. But this pastime teaches us a great philosophical point, that mother, father, or parents is such a thing that when they are there, we never realize their true value. But when we lose them, we realize their value. But at that time, we have nothing in hands except regret. So while they're alive, we should serve them. I don't agree that we should celebrate one day Mother's Day, and rest of the days we can just ignore them. This is not a civilization. Our country teaches us that Mother's Day should be celebrated on a daily basis. We should bow down at her lotus feet on a daily basis and take her benediction and blessing. And whoever has the blessings of the parents, they will be successful wherever they go. And today I was contemplating on this Mother's Day that our Lord is so
हमारे सनातन धर्म की
merciful
कितनी
in
महिमा है भक्त
what are the glories of our eternal
कि
dharma or
अन्य
religion,
धर्मों में मुझे
that in
लगता है
other
प्रभु आज
religion
बहुत गौरव
today
हो रहा है
I feel
सनातन धर्म की महिमा आप देखिए
pride on
अन्य
our
धर्मों में
society and civilization
भगवान
culture.
और भक्त का रिलेशन क्या है
In other
स्वामी
religion,
और दास दैट्स इट
the relationship of
मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा
a
लेकिन आप अपने मन में सोच
devotee
लीजिए
and
कि मुस्लिम धर्म
the
क्रिश्चियन धर्म
Lord
हिंदू
is
धर्म में
master and
भगवान और
the
उनके
servant.
आश्रित का एक ही संबंध है
So
भगवान
there is
मालिक
only
है
one
और ये सेवक
relationship,
है
that
नौकर
the Lord
दास
is the master and
और
others
कोई
are
नहीं
his servant. Nothing
लेकिन
beyond
हमारे
that.
भगवान की महिमा
But
तो देखो
let's look at the glory
हमारे
of
भगवान
our
माँ
Supreme
भी है
Personality of Godhead.
हमारे
He
भगवान
is the
बाप भी है
mother. He is
हमारे
our
भगवान
father.
मित्र भी है
He
हमारे
becomes our
भगवान सखा
friend.
भी हो जाते हैं
He
हमारे भगवान पति
he
भी हो जाते हैं
becomes
प्रियपति
our
भी हो जाते
beloved
हैं
husband.
हमारे भगवान
And
अपने भक्तों के लिए क्या नहीं हो जाते हैं
what does he doesn't do
त्वमेव
for his
माता
devotees?
च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव आमाय जो मैं जो माता पहले आई भगवान से यदि संबंध जोड़ना
So
है तो
when we want to have a relationship with the Lord, so the first and foremost is Tvameva Mata.
हमारे कृष्ण हमारे प्रभु
Our
माता
Lord
बन जाते हैं
becomes our
अन्य धर्मों
mother.
में ये सुविधा नहीं
In
है
other religions,
देखो
there is
अन्य
not
धर्मों में
such
हे
possibility.
जीसस तू मेरी माँ है जीसस ऊपर से नीचे गिरेगा मैं माँ दिखाई दे रहा हूँ गॉड वहां तो गॉड चलता है वहां तो चलो ये भी है अन्य धर्म में तो भगवान को
But
निराकारी बोल दिया
in other
कि भगवान न
religions,
माँ
they
हो सकती न बाप हो
think
सकता
that
कुछ
he
नहीं हो
doesn't
सकता
have any form, so he cannot be
हमारे
either father,
सनातन
mother.
धर्म की महिमा
Our
हमारे भगवान
Sanatan or eternal religion
जीवों
is
के प्राणों का
glorious.
क्या पोषण करते हैं
How he
आप चाहो तो मैं आपकी
nourishes
माँ
the
बन जाऊं
emotions and
आप
moods
चाहो
of
तो
a
मैं आपका
devotee.
बाप बन जाऊं
I can
आप
become your
चाहो चाहो
mother, father
तो मैं
if you
आपका
want.
सखा बन जाऊं अभी
I can
सखा
become
किसको
your
कहते
friend,
नहीं है अभी सखा है ना उद्धव सखा है
because
सखा बन जाओ
if you see,
नौकर
Uddhav
बन
is
जाओ
a
बस
friend.
मुझे नौकर बना ले यार अपना ड्राइवर बना ले प्रभु कृष्ण ड्राइवर भी
He
बन जाते हैं
becomes the
सखा बन जाओ
charioteer of Arjuna,
इसको अपने
becomes a
भक्तों ही बना
servant of
लेते
his
हैं
devotee.
ये हमारे हिंदू धर्म सनातन धर्म की महिमा
This is the glory or benevolence of
सो
our religion.
बहुत गौरव होता है
So I
और
feel
शिला
very
प्रभुपाद जी को
proud,
करोड़ करोड़ धन्यवाद देने का मन करता है
and I want to
धन्यवाद
repeatedly
प्रभुपाद
thank
जिन्होंने
Srila Prabhupada
भक्ति की
again and
गिफ्ट
again
हमको
as
दी
he revolutionized.
इस जीवन में भगवान मिले या ना मिले
And
चिंता
in
नहीं
this life, even if
पता
we
तो
get
चला कि
the Lord
लौट
or
आए
not, but at least we realize that the Lord is
प्राप्त
there
करने लायक प्रेम करने वाला
and He is the only one who deserves our love.
सो आइए हमारा सब्जेक्ट है
So
आज
our
फॉर्मेलिटी नहीं हुई
subject
सीधा
is,
उपाड़ा कर दिया सो धन्यवाद करेंगे कथा के आयोजक श्री
we'll
राजऋषि
thank the organizer, that is Sri
उनकी
Rajarishi
धर्म पत्नी की
Prabhu,
स्मृति में
in
अनिला
the
माता
memory
जी
of
को
whose
याद
wife
करते हुए
Anila
उनके
Mataji,
माता पिता
and
नंदन जी
remembering
मधुबेन पटेल
his
के
parents,
पावन आशीर्वाद कृपा
and
लेकर
with their blessings, seeking their
भागवत के
blessings
तृतीय दिवस उद्धव
on the
गीत
third day of Srimad
डिवोशनल
Bhagavatam,
डेफिनेशन
Uddhav Geet,
भक्ति
the
की परिभाषा को आइए
devotional definition, we all are going to listen.
गत सत्र में
So previously,
दो प्रश्न तो हो चुके हैं
we have covered
यम
two
क्या है
questions.
क्या
What are the yam and what are
दूसरा
those?
प्रश्न है क्या
And what are the niyama
ओके
or
तीसरा
regulatory
प्रश्न पूछा
principles?
शम
So the
किसे कहते हैं
third question
शम
was, what
माने
is
मन
sham?
को वश में रखना
That is
सो
how to
मन को
control
वश
the
में
mind.
रखना क्या है
And what
श्री
is it
कृष्ण कहते
exactly
हैं
to control the
शम
mind?
मत
So
निश्चला बुद्धे
Krishna replies,
बुद्धि का मुझ में लग जाना,
to focus your mind and heart onto me is the peace of mind.
सो ये कृष्ण ने फल कहा। ये तीसरा प्रश्न। सो मन की शांति का सीधा अर्थ 2 + 2 4, तो मन की शांति मतलब
So, peace of mind implies or is equivalent to focusing our mind in Krishna, and accept that whatever you have in your heart or mind cannot give you peace. It will just give disturbance.
उसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन मन की शांति
Even if you consider that that is peace, but that is not the case.
और यहाँ पर स्पेशली कहा,
And here, especially, it is mentioned buddhi.
निष्ठता बुद्धि, अपनी बुद्धि निष्ठा पूर्वक मुझ में लग
It is that we should have our mind or intelligence focused on the Lord. So I was reminding you of Bhishma Pitama, who is sleeping on the death bed of arrows, and on that bed he wants to surrender his intelligence to the Lord. So Bhishma Pitama was on this bed of arrows for 45 days. So if we just get a little thorn, we cannot tolerate, but he is pierced with arrows, and since last 45 days he has been suffering with this distress along with the 18 days of fighting. And after just having an audience with the Lord, he gets relieved of all his pains. And Guru Maharaj says that when Bhishma Pitama saw the Lord or had the audience with the Lord, he felt as if he was sleeping on a flower bed rather than a deathbed of arrows. So our distresses get relieved by an audience with the Lord. So these fools are also glorious. When a person marry, then the bed is decorated with flowers. And then we sleep on those flowers. On the day of marriage, the flowers are below us, but when we die, the flowers are on top of us. So now the days of death are near, so we should not be worried. Pitama Bhishma was feeling as if this bed of arrows is like a flower bed. So we will listen to the Bhagavatam and we will have an audience with the Lord. Then definitely on our deathbed, we will feel as if we are on a flower bed.
युधिष्ठिर महाराज को और सबको लेकर गए,
when Krishna brought Yudhishthira Maharaj and others to Bhishma Pitama, then Bhishma Pitama shared his knowledge with Yudhishthira Maharaj. But when he had a glance on Lord Krishna, and he said that please come here, and Krishna came forward, and he said that you should stand here without speaking a word. And he says, till what point shall I stand here? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Bhishma Pitama responds,
देवो भगवान प्रतीक्षता कलेवरम या वदिदं हि नोम्यहम् प्रसन्नहासा ऋणलोचलोन्लसत् मुखाम्बुजोद्या न पथ चतुर्भुजम। ये है वीरता। मरती वक्ते भगवान ने आम केવું પડે ઊભો રહેજે અહીંયા
This is the bravery. At the deathbed, he is saying that you stand here.
तू खड़ा रहे यहाँ पर क्यों राजरी भैया क्या छे के गया हरि बोल मुझे यहाँ से चिंता होती हम गिर तो नहीं गए सो खैर सो धन्य है पितामह भीष्म
The great is Pitama Bhishma that he ordered the Lord to stand as I'm going to die. And till the point I leave this body, till that point you should stand here. Krishna said that, shall I pose? He said that in your eternal form you should stand. And when Krishna stood, then Pitama Bhishma spoke this verse.
कल पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभोमनी गाइए इति मतिरूप कल्पिता वितृष्णा भगवती सात्वत पुंगवे विभोमनी स्वसुखमुपगते क्वचिद्विहरतुं प्रकृतिमुपेयुषि यद्भव प्रवाह इति मैं यदि वहां उस टोले में होता
So if I would have been in that group of people, then I would have asked Pitama Bhishma, you are starting the veneration. So iti is for the end or conclusion. So if we are starting here, then why you're using this iti? So Bhishma Pitama here implies that all these material responsibilities and life, I want to conclude them all. So it's just by your mercy that I'm able to speak. I haven't written it anywhere. This iti word here implies that till the point we conclude our material work, till that point we cannot marry or invest ourselves in the Lord. So before we marry, a girl has to leave her parents' home, then only she can go to her in-laws' home. Till that point she cannot. So till she cannot go to her in-laws till she leaves her parents' home. So till the point we get engaged or stop engaging in material things, we won't be able to engage or invest with the Lord. So I just want to speak on Mati because here we are discussing this point of Shamo Man Nishtita Buddhir, that for peace of mind implies that our mind should or intelligence should be focused on me or Lord. So Pitama Bhishma says that, oh Krishna, I want to surrender to you what? My mind or intelligence.
कृष्ण ने कहा कि देखो मैं किसी की भी मति ले लूंगा,
Krishna says that I cannot take anybody's intelligence. Or
तो तुम्हारी मति का गुण क्या है?
so, what are the qualities of your mind or intelligence? And Pitama Bhishma implies
मैं
or
मेरी मति
responds,
आपको समर्पित करना चाहता हूँ या आपसे शादी कराना चाहता हूँ मेरी मति का। सो मेरी मति का गुण क्या
I
है?
want my
वितृष्णा।
intelligence to be married to you. And what is its quality?
मेरी मति का गुण है
Vitrushna.
कि मेरी मति में किसी भी प्रकार की तृष्णा नहीं है।
So,
माने
there is
संसार
no
के भोग
desire
प्यास,
of sense
संसार के
gratification,
भोग भोगने की इच्छा मुझे नहीं है।
and I am devoid of the same. That is Vitrushna.
वितृष्णा का और एक अर्थ होगा
And another meaning for this word is
विशेष तृष्णा।
that is
मेरी बुद्धि, मेरी
special
मति
desire.
आपको प्राप्त करने के लिए
My
विशेष आग्रही हो चुकी है।
my mind
मेरी बुद्धि में आपको पाने की
has
विशेष
this
तृष्णा हो रही है।
intense desire
ये मति का, ये
to
बुद्धि का गुण है।
meet you
बुद्धि
or surrender unto you. So, who is intelligent?
बहुत सारा मार्क्स लेकर आया,
A person who has
आया, बहुत पैसे कमाए,
great score and accumulated huge wealth,
भगवान
but
की
in
दृष्टि से
perspective of Bhagavatam of the Lord,
बुद्धिमान वो है
an intelligent person is one
बुद्धि में डिसीजन है, जिसकी
whose
बुद्धि में ये गुण है
mind
कि
or
संसार की
has this quality that this
इच्छा तृष्णा को त्याग कर
we should forego or let go the desire of material sense gratification, and we should have this intense desire
सो इस प्रकार
to attain the love of the Lord.
श्रीमद् भागवत जी में प्रहलाद महाराज ने कहा
So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says,
क्या है
what is the quality of our mind?
यद वासुदेव, हमारी मति जो है ना सती
He says,
होनी चाहिए।
Mati Sati
मति
Vasudeve.
सती
So
माने
our
जैसे
mind should
नारी
be
कैसी होती
Sati.
है?
Sati, why woman is a chaste woman, her mind is not focused on other men, but only on her husband. Similarly, our mind should be chaste and only focused on Lord Vasudev or Krishna.
सो कुल मिलाकर अब ज्यादा विस्तार नहीं, शमो मत निष्ठता बुद्धे, शांति किसे कहते हैं?
So, what is
मन की
peace
शांति किसे कहते हैं?
of mind? Peace of mind implies that the mind should be focused on the Lord.
कृष्ण में लगना मन की शांति है। ओके, अब चौथा प्रश्न है दम
So, the
क्या है?
fourth question is Dam
कहते हैं दमः इंद्रिय संयम।
Indriya Sanyamaha.
दम का अर्थ है,
So, Dam here implies the control of
इंद्रियों को संयम करना, इंद्रियों
so to perfect or discipline our senses is not Dhamma. So it's a very subtle thing. So please understand it in great
इंद्रियों को कष्ट देते हैं।
detail. So sometimes
नहीं,
people
मैं तुमको भोजन नहीं दूंगा, मैं तुमको
trouble the senses. I will not allow you to eat or sleep.
सोने नहीं दूंगा,
I will not allow my body to sleep.
कराता रहूंगा।
It shall be awake.
इंद्रियों को कष्ट
So
देना
by
दम नहीं है।
troubling the senses, it's not Dhamma or controlling the senses.
बहुत मार्मिक होता है।
Whatever Krishna speaks is very subtle.
इंद्रियों को कंट्रोल करना,
To control the senses, that is Dhamma.
माने हमारा क्या है ना, हम लोग
So for us,
शुरू करते हैं तो फिर डाइटिंग ही होती
when we die, then we only died.
बारीक पतले हो जाते हैं,
When we lose weight, then the body doesn't
दम नहीं है,
is not able to perform.
नहीं है।
So that is not the controlling of
चाहिए वो दे,
the senses. Whatever the body needs, we should give it to. As in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yukta Ahar.
बोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः। ये इंद्रियों को कष्ट देना नहीं,
So to it's Dhamma doesn't imply to trouble the senses, but to control them, discipline them is Damaha.
भगवत गीता में एक शब्द आया,
So in Bhagavad Gita, there is one word for Arjuna.
शत्रुओं का
How
दमन
is
करने वाला।
Arjuna? He was the chastiser of his enemies.
अर्जुन कैसे हैं? शत्रुओं का दमन करने वाले। शत्रुओं का दमन माने क्या?
So what does here
को मारने वाले नहीं, मारना बहुत बड़ी चीज है,
chastiser of the
आप
enemy
को मारना
implies?
बड़ी चीज नहीं है।
So is it
मारने से
a
क्या
great
होता है?
deed
कितनी
to
देरी
kill
लगती है?
someone? How much time it
किसी
takes
को
to
मारने
kill
में कितनी
someone?
देरी लगती है?
To kill someone, if you have a weapon, then you might not take much time.
अर्जुन शत्रुओं का दमन करने वाले,
But
इसका अर्थ शत्रुओं को
Arjuna
मारने वाले नहीं,
is
शत्रुओं को कंट्रोल करने वाले।
the controller of the
कंट्रोल
enemies.
करना बड़ी चीज है, मारना
So
बड़ी
that
चीज है।
is important.
सो कृष्ण कितनी सूक्ष्म बात कह गए।
So how such a
इंद्रिय
thing Krishna
संयम,
has explained here.
दम माने इंद्रियों को मारना
The
नहीं,
means not to kill the senses
कष्ट देना नहीं।
or trouble them,
इंद्रियों को क्यों कष्ट
but
दे रहे हो?
and why are we troubling our senses?
को कष्ट नहीं देता, इंद्रियों को
A
भी कष्ट नहीं देता।
gentleman never troubles anybody,
हाँ,
not even the
कष्ट
senses,
नहीं देना है,
but
कंट्रोल करना है।
we should control them
प्रकृति के अनुसार, शास्त्रों के अनुसार
according to
इंद्रियों का जिसमें
the
हो,
nature, and whatever is beneficial for our senses, we should do that. So that is the control or controlling the senses.
दम की परिभाषा,
That is the indriya sanyamam.
दम मारो दम मिट जाए गम। हाँ? बात तो सही है, यदि इस प्रकार से दम इंद्रिय
So
संयम, ये दम
if we
करेंगे तो गम
control
मिट
our
जाएगा।
senses, then we will remove all our distresses.
ओके, तो ये चौथा पॉइंट है कि दम माने इंद्रियों का संयम करना। फिर से मैं कहूं, इंद्रियों को कष्ट मत देना भाई, हैं? हम तो निर्जला करते हैं, करो
So
अच्छी
if
बात,
I say that you should not trouble your distress, and if you observe fasting without eating or drinking anything, and you're angry on everyone else, then it's better to eat and observe the fast. And then the next point is titiksha. What is tolerance? This is also something that we should understand.
ये बहुत सुंदर कृष्ण ने, मुझे तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
I liked it very much, although it is a technical philosophical subject or aphorism. There is no much pastimes, but it is something that we should try to understand and imbibe in our life.
मैं बहुत सहन करता हूँ, अरे भाई सहन
I tolerate a lot.
क्या है?
But what is the definition of tolerance?
एक आदमी ग्रीष्म की गर्मी माथा
A person
फाड़ दे, इतनी गर्मी भारत में अब शुरू
in
होगी
India,
मई महीने
the
में,
summers will
मई में।
start in May,
और उस ग्रीष्म की गर्मी में
and in that
गन्ना बोया जाता है। ग्रीष्म में
summer,
गन्ना
the
नहीं,
sugarcane
एक
is
तो माथा फाड़ देते हो,
sowed.
गन्ना बोना है, सिंचाई करना है, पानी डालना,
They have to reap and
किसान कितना
take care of the
परेशान होगा,
sugarcane.
ऊपर से सूर्य की
A
गर्मी, नीचे से
farmer
धूप की गर्मी,
gets so much distress with so much
और
heat,
दिन भर उस खेत में काम करना,
and he plows the field
बाहर
throughout the
से कोई
day.
देखे, अरे
And if
ये
someone
देखिए
sees
कितना
from
श्रम
outside
कर रहा है,
that how much he is tolerating, so is he tolerant?
उसको
No,
सहनशील नहीं माना जाएगा।
that is not considered
आप
tolerance.
जाते हो गाड़ी में,
If you go to office and you get stuck in the traffic, then oh, they are so tolerant.
सहनशीलता की परिभाषा क्या है?
What is the definition of tolerance? There is a key point what Krishna reveals here in this verse.
मैंने पूछा गोविंद टीवी को कि ये सब बीच में बैनर क्यों आते हैं?
I asked Govind TV why we get this banner again and again. Till the point the registrations are complete, we will get this.
तो मैं ये कह रहा था,
So I was just saying,
क्या है तितिक्षा? तितिक्षा
what is titiksha? That is tolerance.
होनी चाहिए, करनी चाहिए।
We all understand the importance of tolerance and we should imbibe that in our life, but
दुख सम्मर्शो,
that is titiksha dukh sammarsho.
सहनशीलता
So
माने
tolerance,
सहन करना,
that is
की
tolerance
बजाय कृष्ण
to
के लिए दुख को सहन करना।
tolerate the distress or sadness for the sake of Krishna. A person who
सहनशीलता है।
tolerates distress
वो खेत में
for
गन्ना बो रहा
Krishna,
है, परेशान
that
है,
is
वो तो अपने
tolerance.
लिए हो रहा है ना, वो
A person who is tolerating the summers to grow the sugarcane is tolerating for himself. A person who tolerates for himself, that is not tolerance. Otherwise, all these husbands, they all should go to the eternal abode of the Lord. They tolerate so much after marriage.
ये देवता लोग बैठे हैं, आप देखिए कितना सहन करते हैं। तब तो जितने भी पति बाय डिफॉल्ट वैकुंठ में होने चाहिए, क्योंकि सहन ही कर रहे हैं। लेकिन वो सहन,
But that tolerance is for their sake.
भोजन मिल रहा है, सेवा हो रही है,
So we are getting somewhere there is some selfish motive.
कृष्ण ने दी।
So the definition of tolerance is given by the Lord, that is to tolerate for the sake of the Lord, that is tolerance.
हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? पहला प्रश्न ये है
So if we have this question, how we will know
कि कृष्ण के लिए क्या दुख सहन करना है?
what are we going to tolerate for the Lord, the distress? So the Lord replies for the Vedic scriptures that a person should do this and that, the 12 things that we discussed earlier. So these are the instruction of the Lord that you should do these 12 things. And while doing these 12 things, if we are facing some distress or trouble, why we are doing it? Why? Because this is the instruction of the Lord, because it is His order. So to fulfill His desire and instruction, sometimes we face difficulty and distress, and that comes under the heading of tolerance, because in the scriptures it is mentioned and Krishna has instructed, and the spiritual master has also specially instructed us, so we should do it. And while doing that, to follow his instruction, the problem or distress we face, that we should tolerate, that is tolerance or titiksha. For example, Haridas Thakur, he was told that you should stop chanting the holy names of the Lord, and he refused. He said that he was told you will be beaten, and he accepted that as well. So he was thrashed in 22 markets. He was oozing with blood, but still he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. So that was the tolerance of Haridas Thakur, because it is mentioned in the Vedic scripture that we should chant the holy names. And while following the instruction of the Lord, he had suffered so much. So that is tolerance. Jayadev Goswami was thrown in the well after removing his hands and legs. That is tolerance. So if we come to practical sense, so it is mentioned that we should perform Mangala Aarti. At least on Ekadashi, we should visit the temple. And to get up early, the trouble that we face, that is tolerance. To follow the instruction of the Lord. So when we have this consciousness that for the desire or instruction of the Lord, scripture and spiritual master, then that comes under the heading of tolerance. If we have gone to movie and he's standing in the line for 1.5 years and he says that I am tolerating, that is not tolerance. So the instruction of Krishna are mentioned in the scriptures. So if I translate this, titiksha dukkha sammarsho, so the translation for that will be to attain the Lord and following the regulative principles under the scriptures, and the distress we face while doing the same is tolerance. So now the sixth point is dhruti. What is dhruti? That is steadiness. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said that we should become steadfast.
धीरता, सो धीरता क्या
or
है?
steadiness. So, what exactly is
या
this
फिर धीरता कैसे आती है?
dhirta or steadiness, and how are we going to imbibe this?
कई
So,
बार
Krishna
लगता है
responds
इसके अंदर
beautifully.
धीरता नहीं है,
Sometimes people say
इसके
that
अंदर
this person
मैच्योरिटी नहीं है,
lacks
धैर्यता नहीं है। सही है, नहीं है तो फिर इसको
steadiness.
दुकान से तो खरीद कर
So,
मिलेगी
are we
नहीं।
going to buy it from a
कृष्ण
store?
ने बहुत सुंदर
Then
कहा,
Krishna
मूर्ति
responds,
धीरता, धैर्यता कैसे आएगी?
how
तो
can
कहते
we
हैं
imbibe
जीवा
that?
उपस्थ
Jiva
जयो
upastha
धृतिः,
jayo dhritihi.
अपनी जीवा और
Our tongue
जनेंद्रियों को कंट्रोल करना, ये
and
धीरता है,
our
ये धैर्यता है। ऐसे कोई ठंडे ठंडे कोने में बैठा रहता है, बुद्धि
so
में से बोल रहा है
controlling our
नहीं, हम कहेंगे अरे कितना
tongue
धीर
and
है, कितना
genitals
धीर है,
can
आलसी है
imbibe
वो, वो
dhriti
आलसी
or
है,
steadiness.
फिर उसे न
A
बोलने
person
देना
who
न
sits on
चलने
a
देना।
corner, then he is a lazy person.
देखो
So please understand the definitions.
बहुत मार खा जाते हैं,
Sometimes
इसलिए
we
कृष्ण डेफिनेशन दे, धीरता क्या है?
get
धीरता
confused. So, what is dhirta
जीवा
or
और
steadiness?
उपस्थ
That is
जनेंद्रिय का कंट्रोल,
to
ये धीरता है।
control
जिसके
our
ऊपर
tongue
कंट्रोल है, जिसके
and
ऊपर
our
कंट्रोल है, वो
genitals.
आदमी धीर है।
That person who controls
इस
both
प्रकार
of them
भगवान श्री कृष्ण
is
हैं,
steady
उद्धव जी की जिज्ञासा
or
को पूरी
dhriti.
करते हैं। आइए अगले श्लोक में कहते हैं,
So, in the next verse, he says,
दंड न्यास परम दानम काम त्याग तपस्मृतम स्वभाव विजय शौर्यम स्वभाव विजय शौर्यम सत्यम च समदर्शनम सत्यम च समदर्शनम। आगे सातवां कहते हैं,
so the seventh is what is
क्या था? दान कैसे?
charity.
जब दान शब्द सुनते हैं तो इमेजिन होता है,
When we think of charity, then we imagine just getting money out of our wallet and giving it to someone. But according to Krishna's perspective, the definition of charity is something different. We want to please Krishna. When it's mentioned that we should be charitable, then what exactly is that benevolence?
दान का मतलब दंड न्यास परम दानम।
So, according to his perspective, danda nyasa
आप उस
param
कगार पर
danam.
पहुंचे हो,
You reach a
आदमी को दंड
stage
देना है,
that you want
किसी
to
ने
punish someone
आपके साथ गलत व्यवहार
if
किया
someone has misbehaved
और
with you
आपका पूरा पूरा क्षमता है कि उसको दंड आप
and
दे सकते हो, कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता,
you can punish
पूरी
them,
दूरी आपके हाथ में है,
and you have this opportunity that you can punish them,
उस कगार में आकर
and at that stage,
तुझे माफ किया,
and if you say that I forgive you,
दान है।
that is the greatest charity of all. According to Krishna's perspective,
क्षमा कर देना
to forgive a offender is the greatest charity of all.
नहीं तो हम तो हमारे
Otherwise,
दान की परिभाषा किसी
for
को
us,
कितना
the
दान
definition of
किया।
charity, how much money was given.
दुख की बात यह है कि
And
आजकल
it is a
मंदिरों
great
में,
point of distress that even in temples and organizations,
पैसों से ही तोला जाता है।
people are judged according to their material wealth and opulence.
किताब चेक करते हैं, जिसका ज्यादा डोनेशन आता है उसका ज्यादा वाहवाही। मैं आपको एक प्रश्न पूछता हूँ,
If I ask you a question,
एक आदमी के पास
a
करोड़ों
person
रुपए हैं,
has millions of
मेरा प्रश्न है खास करके
dollars.
संस्था वालों को, एक आदमी के
So
पास
I have this
करोड़ों
question,
रुपया है,
especially to temple
वो
and
एक करोड़ का
organization.
दान करता है,
And a person is a millionaire, billionaire, and he
न्यूज़पेपर में आता है, न्यूज़ चैनल में, क्या
donates
इसका तो
$1 million,
पहनाए जाते हैं,
and he's
असली बात
venerated
यही है।
that after all, he's the only one who is opulent. That is how they treat him. So he has millions and billions of money, and he gave 1 million, and he is very, and other person who is not so well to do, he doesn't even have means to eat the next day, and he saves money, and he donates 100 rupees. He doesn't have any picture or video, no news, nothing. So please respond whether this 1 crore of charity or this 100 rupee is far greater. If you have a heart, then you will have this answer that 100 rupee is has more surrender than that 1 crore rupees, because he had millions, and of that he has given a little. But this, he had whatever he has offered it. So if you see the perspective of surrender, then that is greater, but in organization that is not considered. And when I reveal this, then people get disturbed. So if someone says that, why are the cocks killed? Because he wakes up others. So I do wake up the people. That is why people criticize, are envious, etc. Anyways, surrender is a great thing. We should not focus on the amount that he has given this and that. He is opulent. A person who is poor, he is saving. And if we see from the perspective of surrender, then that 100 rupee might appear to be less, but in the perspective of the Lord, that is great. So I was saying that Krishna says the greatest charity is what? The greatest charity is to forgive an offender. Therefore, we should and try to be charitable. So if someone just commits a little mistake, then we immediately call. So first, at least give it some thought and then decide. But we want to react immediately. So the greatest charity or benevolence is to forgive the offender. So if the world does notices or not, but the Lord becomes extremely satisfied and happy. But he had this opportunity to punish, but he forgave. So he has a brave heart or a great heart. A person has a propensity to forgive only when you have a bigger heart. Today, people's homes are very big. They have a great bank balance, appearance, etc., but their hearts are small. To forgive is work of a great soul. Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many characters filled with such people. Draupadi, whose small 5 innocent kids were killed, and Ashwathama in middle of the night has killed while the kids were sleeping. First and foremost, we should not kill children, and if we want, then you should do that in the battlefield. And while they're sleeping, you kill them. And he killed these 5 kids while they were sleeping. And as you're aware, the Draupadi was distressed, and Arjuna took the vow. And Krishna and Arjuna bought Ashwathama and put him on her feet to kill him. But Draupadi replied, she's on this words that she can kill Ashwatthama with the sword. But
कि दंड न्यास
Krishna has said,
दंड का न्यास
Dandanyas, that is, we should
दंडी को क्षमा कर देना,
forgive
धर्म
the
दानम
offender. That is the
पैसा
most
वैसा देना तो दान
benevolent.
है,
To give
लेकिन
money is
अपराधी को क्षमा
charity,
कर देना
but
ये
to
परम
forgive an offender, that is the greatest charity of all.
दीनदानी नहीं है, परम
So
दयालु।
Draupadi is not just
अरे तेरे 5-5 बच्चों को मारा है,
benevolent but
बोले कोई बात नहीं, मार
magnificent.
दिया, वो मर
She
गए,
says that
अब
no
क्या है,
matter
अब तो इसे छोड़
he
दो,
killed my sons, but why should we punish him?
लेकिन मेरी प्रतिज्ञा है,
He said, Arjuna said that I've taken a vow.
करना है करो, कृष्ण आपके
She
साथ।
said that you can do whatever you want, but you should leave him.
मुझे जो अट्रैक्ट करता है ना, वो
So what attracts
द्रौपदी
me?
तो फिर भी अबला थी,
That Draupadi was still a woman.
मुझे जो आकर्षित करता है परीक्षित,
That is Parikshit
परीक्षित ने आम
Maharaj.
શું હતું,
In comparison to Parikshit, Shringi was nothing. And he says that in 7 days Parikshit will die. I'm not going in detail as you all are aware. So I'm just highlighting the main events and pastimes. When Parikshit realized that Shringi has cursed him and he was nothing more than an insect, but Parikshit said that now that he has spoken, I forgive him. And Shamik Rishi, the father of Shringi Rishi, realized this. And you can see this verse you should keep in our pocket, because at every step we have this tendency to, a propensity to take or punish others. And that is why we sing Bhagavatam and we are under the shelter of Bhagavatam. What did Samik Rishi spoke? These are his words of the father of Shringi. He says, it is good that you have cursed Parikshit, and Parikshit is not ordinary like you. He is a Mahabhagavat. You don't know the glories of King Parikshit. If you see in the 4th line, Tad Bhakta, that means he is the devotee of the Lord, and you don't know the glory of a devotee of the Lord. Any devotee of the Lord, even if he is dishonored, disrespected, or viprilabdha, that is to cheat them. So whether a devotee of the Lord is disrespected or cheated or cursed or dishonored, even if you kill him, hata means to kill, still na asya tat prati kurvanti, the devotee of the Lord will never avenge or take revenge. And the one word that is the most important and which is the soul of this verse, Tad Bhakta Prabhavopi. Prabhavo means he is capable. That devotee of the Lord has this capability to punish the offender. Yet, although he is capable, yet he will not avenge himself. He will not punish them. He will forgive them.
समीक ऋषि ने कहा कि ये परीक्षित ने
Shamik Rishi said that on listening to your curse, Parikshit Maharaj has done nothing. It doesn't imply that he is an ordinary human being. In 1 second, he could have burnt you. Prabhu means he is capable, yet he didn't utter the word. Why? Because he is the devotee of the Lord. Krishna says, if you are my devotee, then you should not have this propensity to avenge. So this was that people will attack us, and but if we are under the shelter of Bhagavatam, we are the devotees of the Lord, then we will forgive them. And if we take one step further, that is King Chitraketu. Parikshit got the Lord after dying, but Chitraketu got or attained the Lord while he was alive because the Lord gave him an audience and he said that you can ask for any boon. And Chitraketu asked for a vehicle so that he can perform devotee association. And he used to roam. And one day he went to Kailash. And the pastime has started. Shivji was sitting next to Parvati and he was a friend of Lord Shiva, so he commented in friendship. So in friendship, they commented that yes, wife, you're doing the pastime while yes, wife is sitting on your lap. If you want this, and then you should take your wife to a park or a garden. So there was this sweet interaction, but Shivji was not affected, but Parvati ji became angry and upset.
कहा कि गोद में बिठाकर क्यों कथा करे, मतलब जो भी किया वाणी से अपराध किया, राइट?
So Chitraketu didn't attack Lord Shiva, but he just attacked by his speech. But Parvati ji could have abused him, although it should not be done. But see what point she went, that what you to speak, so I curse you that you become a demon. So, for such a small offense, such a great curse, although it was not an offense, but even if you are in anger, at least you should have that much intelligence that what am I doing, what kind of action I'm taking. We should have that kind of wisdom. But Chitraketu is Chitraketu. When he heard that, he landed. A devotee is fearless. Doesn't matter even if others curse him. He bowed down at the lotus feet of Parvati ji. And people might have commented that he is afraid. So was he scared? So he said, "Oh mother, I'm not going because of fear, but because I respect you, because Lord Shiva is my dear friend. And I just want to say that because of envy, or I haven't not said that in that sense, but I just said it in a jest. And even if you felt bad, then I accept your curse." And Chitraketu left. And when he left, Shukdev Goswami recites,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yes.
इति भागवतो देव्या प्रतिशप्तो मलन्तमः मूर्धना सजगृहे शापम, क्योंकि एतावत् साधुलक्षणम, एतावत् साधुलक्षणम। सुखदेव गोस्वामी महाराज चित्रकेतु की प्रशंसा करते हुए
Shukdev Goswami praises Chitraketu king and says, Iti Bhagavato Devya. In this manner, Mother Parvati cursed Chitraketu, and King Chitraketu was not wrong. He has not offended. And even if we think that he has offended, but is this worthy of such a curse that he should become a demon?
तो यहाँ पर सुखदेव जी ने शब्द
So Shukdev ji has used this word here.
पार्वती ने श्राप दिया,
Parvati ji cursed without thinking or giving it a thought. Pratishaptu.
तो चित्रकेतु भी पार्वती को
So Chitraketu could have also cursed Parvati ji. That is, he could have avenged her himself. He was capable to do the same. That you are cursing me to become a demon. He could have spoken, and he won't have got any sin for the same.
इति भागवतो देविया, पार्वती ने श्राप दिया और प्रतिशप्तुम उसके प्रतिकार में श्राप देने में समर्थ थे।
Although he was capable to avenge and he won't have incurred any sin, but see the glory of a devotee of the Lord, that although he was capable, he didn't curse, but murdhana, he accepted gracefully the curse of Mother Parvati, and the reason behind that is sadhu lakshanam, because that is a sign of a great sage or a saint. If it should have been somebody else, he would have shown. But a sage never show off. He has this tendency to forgive. So in this manner, dandanyasa param danam. To forgive someone, although if you have capability to punish them, but still forgive them, that is the greatest charity of all. So by this we just get this lesson that in this world, in our family or society, if someone commits an offense and you're capable to punish them, then also if we forgive them, then that is the most charitable, and the Lord becomes extremely satisfied by it. So this is Krishna has given in written while leaving. He has made his will that this will satisfy me. Now further, so what is austerity?
बहुत सुंदर कहते हैं, कामना और भोग वासना, विषय वासना का त्याग
To let go of sense gratification is the greatest austerity. Sometimes we think that austerity implies to trouble our body or to burn our body without any goal. Troubling the body is not austerity, but to let go of our desires. And when we let go of our desire, then that trouble is okay, that comes under austerity. But without any goal, if we perform austerity, outwardly you perform austerity and inwardly you have so much sense gratification or desire for sense gratification, and you have so many desires, then that is not austerity. But the austerity is to curtail our propensity of sense gratification. So the ninth is Shaurya. What is Shaurya? So we will have to go in detail for this. What is bravery or heroism? We all want to be heroic. So what exactly is bravery? So I heard this Uddhava Gita from my Guru Maharaj almost 20 years back. I remember the place where I heard it and how I heard it. So a few things are there in my mind, fresh. So this word is still fresh in my mind since that day. So what is heroism or bravery? To win our natural tendency is the greatest heroism. So it is said that our soul and our natural tendency goes with us. So to change our natural tendency and to control that or to win that over is heroic. So how does our nature is formed? So it becomes by two things. Because of our conditioning through previous lives and according to our previous deeds, our conditioning is, and since childhood we haven't read Bhagavatam, Gita, etc. And because of our ignorance, we have such some shortcomings or bad habits. And while doing them again and again, it becomes our natural tendency or our behavior. So it is not the behavior of our soul, but it becomes the behavior of mind, soul, and false ego. And it becomes our habit or behavior. So the greatest heroism is what? That the whatever bad habits we have, we should try to relieve from them. That is the bravery or courage to go to gym and to body. So usually Bollywood and go to border. So what is bravery? That is to win over our natural tendency. If I tell the kids what is the greatest heroism, and to pick up the phone and leave the phone at an opportune time. So we pick up the phone, but we never put it down. But that means that we are not brave hearts. We should have a habit to leave if required. If you want to keep your body fit, then after sunset we should not eat. That is courage. We will sleep early. That is heroism. So you might say that we want to sleep, but you don't allow us to sleep. To wake up early also requires courage. So Lord Krishna says, Swabhava Vijaya Shaurya. So I will discuss this in further detail tomorrow. So you all have been listening with so much love and patience. I'm really grateful to all of you. I especially want to thank Rajrishi Prabhu for organizing such beautiful Katha. And we are trying to understand some practical things, and we got this opportunity. So let's conclude the session with Jai Jaiकार.
पुराण के